Hello, I'm Michael, and on this edition of Friday 5, I'm going to be talking you through my top 5 predictions for content marketing in 2020. So my first one is vertical content. Now this isn't necessarily a new thing, it's something a lot of brands have been doing for a while, but I think it's something that's really going to take off in the next year. We've got these mobile first social networks that are really forcing brands to make content, not for the wide screens of desktops and laptops, but for the small vertical screens of mobile phones. Vertical content is a very different medium to what a lot of brands are used to, and it requires a very different approach to creativity. But social networks such as Facebook and Instagram are not only encouraging this type of content, they're actually commercialising it, making it extremely important. I think we're going to see brands invest a lot more in this type of content and really capitalise on the trends. A lot of brands are already doing it, but there's so much more to come from this medium. Personalisation is another area that's far from new, but continues to dominate discussion at marketing conferences, online and in the strategy meeting. But we're now at a point where personalisation really needs to come of age. We're now in a position where personalisation tends to fall into one of two categories. On one side, you've got the kind of personalisation that sends mass communications out, but just changes the name on the email or the address label. On the other side, you've got that kind of data-intensive personalisation that some consumers find a little bit invasive and a bit of a threat to their privacy. Neither of these types of personalisation is really focused on improving the experience for the consumer. The first one is about taking a mass message and just trying to make it look personal. The other is about using data in a way that many consumers would be uncomfortable with. If you are going to use personalisation, make it genuinely personal. Match it to the customer journey, make it relevant, and make it genuine. Don't just use it as a veneer for mass communication. Personalisation needs to become genuinely personable. Don't abuse the data, don't abuse the trust, and make it genuine. Consumers are increasingly looking for the brands that they deal with to be more authentic and trustworthy. But there's a real gap between what marketers believe is being authentic and what customers see as authenticity. There needs to be more work done to bridge that gap. But the payoff for getting that authenticity right can be enormous. It's what encourages consumers to engage with your brand, to recommend your brand, and give you their loyalty. To pull this off successfully, marketers need to understand what authenticity is. What authenticity isn't is some quirky branding or a cool backstory. It's a culture that consumers can recognise. It requires brands to be transparent and honest with their consumers, to own up when things go wrong, and to live and breathe the values that they sell. If you're a brand that sells yourself as a customer service focused brand, live up to that promise. Don't mislead people, don't hide things in the small print, and don't make promises that you can't keep. If you're open, you're honest, and you're trustworthy in your content, audiences will recognise that. The ROI is in their loyalty and their advocacy. Content has become much more conversational. This isn't just because of innovations such as voice search, but because consumers are genuinely being more conversational in the way they search and the way they engage with brands. Digital channels have almost become de facto call centres for consumers to get answers to questions that would have normally needed a human interaction. So they turn to Twitter for customer service questions, or they turn to live chat or to voice search. After all, who wants to listen to hold music anymore? As a result, brands are looking to see how they can serve these queries at scale. So we've got AI coming into chatbots, for example, but content and search also has a really important role to play. Look carefully at the types of questions your audiences and your consumers are asking and serve the content that answers those questions. Brands are investing more and more in content. Content is taking a much bigger slice of the marketing budget, and that means it's going to get a lot more attention from the boardroom. It means that content strategy is so much more important. The boardroom is paying closer attention to where their investment is going, and that means you have to have a better handle on objectives, on tactics, on measurement, and on ROI. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve with your content, you need to have an answer ready for those key questions, because there's an even bigger chance that someone is going to ask. That's all from me. I'd love to know what your predictions are for 2020, but if you want to read more, you can look on the blog. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well, and thanks for watching.